Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub. Florian Wirtz reveals the two Liverpool players who helped convince him to make £116 transfer. Second news is what Premier League managers are saying about Pep Guardiola and Man City as Liverpool watch on. Third news is Arne Slot makes summer spending vow as Liverpool boss admits frustration. People don't notice. Now details. Florian Wirtz has opened up on how messages from Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah helped him choose Liverpool over Bayern Munich in the summer. The Reds were one of three clubs heavily pursuing the Germany international, with Manchester City also interested before opting to drop out of the race in May, reportedly due to the finances involved. Liverpool eventually stayed the course, beating Bundesliga champions Bayern to secure Wirtz's signature, landing the playmaker from Bayer Leverkusen in a deal worth up to £116. And in a chat with the BBC, Wirtz has now revealed how contact from Salah and Reds captain Van Dijk helped tip the scales in favour of the Premier League champions. "My step to Leverkusen was the most important thing I did," Wirtz says. "The time was incredible and I couldn't even think about this before. I was just thinking maybe I can be a Bundesliga player or something before I joined them. I met so many great people, good players, great coaches. I broke some records, but to be the champion was the best thing. First time in the history of their club, unbeaten. It was the biggest achievement. I thought Liverpool is the right place to get to be a better and bigger player because the club is so big. And yes, the team won the Premier League last year. I had some good meetings with the manager Arne Slot before I joined, and also a few players contacted me, for example Virgil and Mo as well, who sent me a message, and they were not begging me to come, but just tried to give me a feeling about Liverpool. Virgil said he would be happy if I came, and I would help them make a step to be even better than they were last year, and these are things you like to hear, and it maybe helped you to make the decision in the end. And I am happy that I made this decision. Even when the start wasn't that easy, I am still so happy I decided." Wirtz, who has scored 5 goals in a little over a month for the Reds, has generally been much improved since the end of November, playing his part in a side that have lost just one of their last 15 games. The German initially struggled to justify the hype that came with his move to the Premier League, and he opened up on how tough it was to deal with the expectations after his, at the time, club record switch from Leverkusen. Wirtz added, "Of course I was very excited when I came and I wanted it to be an instant success, but it didn't come like this, and I just had to stay strong in my mind, keep believing in myself that at some point it has to click. And I was telling myself, you did so good in Germany, you can't just forget how to play football like this here, because it is not completely different football. It was not easy to have the confidence on the pitch, but I think I dealt with it well, and my people around me helped me. I am not a person who likes to talk a lot about these things, but my family, my friends, all of them, believed in me." Second news is what Premier League managers are saying about Pep Guardiola and Man City as Liverpool watch on. There are growing expectations that Liverpool's greatest adversary of the last decade, Pep Guardiola, will call it a day on his tenure with Manchester City. The Catalan coach is anticipated to step away at the end of the season, despite signing a contract until 2027 last term. There is said to be an increasing conviction among rival Premier League managers that this will be Guardiola's final season, according to the Times. The former Barcelona and Bayern Munich boss' future is claimed to be a hot topic of conversation among Premier League coaches. One such figure reportedly told his executives that he is sure the 55-year-old will depart come the summer. Guardiola arrived in the Premier League in 2016 and has won 6 titles, with only Liverpool and Chelsea also seeing success in that time. Doubts over Guardiola seeing out the full term of his contract were raised when it emerged that Enzo Maresca had told Chelsea chiefs he had spoken to City on 3 occasions about replacing Guardiola. The former Blues boss previously worked under Guardiola at the Etihad. The 55-year-old was asked about the prospect of making an early exit following Maresca's departure from Stamford Bridge earlier this month. Guardiola did not appear to take kindly to the suggestion. He said, "Oh my God, I have a contract. I've said it 1,000 million times. I know you are bored of me 10 years here. You want me to leave. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that." Guardiola has previously revealed he would take a break from management upon leaving City. "After my contract with City, I'm going to stop, I am sure. I don't know if I'm going to retire, but I'm going to take a break," Guardiola told ESPN Brazil in May. "How I want to be remembered, I don't know. I want people to remember me however they want. All coaches want to win so we can have a memorable job. But I believe that the fans of Barcelona, Bayern Munich and Manchester City have had fun watching my teams play. I don't think we should ever live thinking about whether we're going to be remembered." Former Liverpool coach Pep Lijnders took City's press conference on Friday as Guardiola attended to a personal matter. Ahead of facing Newcastle, Reds boss Arne Slot acknowledged the difficulties present in the Premier League this season. "So that is the difficulty of speaking a lot in the media, wanting to protect your players, wanting to protect everyone involved in the club, but the reality is that the Premier League has never been stronger like this. There have never been more teams that are competing up there in terms of points," he said. "I just got the question how close everyone is together, but I think the aim for Liverpool has always been the same, winning the league, and that has not changed, not last season, not this season, and it will not change next season. But the reality is also that it is really difficult for any team in this league to win it, and sorry that it is even more nice we won it last season, how special that has been." Third news is Arne Slot makes summer spending vow as Liverpool boss admits frustration. "People don't notice. To the untrained eye, the summer of 2025 marked a significant shift in the thinking at executive level at Liverpool. It started in June, with the capture of Florian Wirtz, who joined for a club record fee of £116 from Bayer Leverkusen. That agreement, even at the base level of £100, was still £25 more than what was paid for Virgil van Dijk in January 2018, who was at the time still the most expensive transfer of all time on Merseyside. The £85 agreed for Darwin Núñez in the summer of 2022 was never paid in full due to the add-ons that were not triggered before the Uruguayan moved to Saudi Arabia last year. After Wirtz, who was signed a few weeks after his good friend Jeremy Frimpong at £29 came Milos Kerkez at £40 and Hugo Ekitike, who completed his £79 switch from Eintracht Frankfurt in July before immediately flying to meet his new colleagues in Hong Kong. Georgi Mamardashvili, who agreed to join the previous summer, formally ratified his £29 switch from Valencia earlier in the summer before Giovanni Leone's £26 transfer from Parma was confirmed on the night the Reds began their title defence at home to Bournemouth on August 15. Last, but by no means least, was the jaw-dropping British record purchase of Alexander Isak, who ended an acrimonious summer with Newcastle United by departing on transfer deadline day for £125. It completed a remarkable haul for the champions, whose summer-long work took them to more than £450 spent, inclusive of add-ons. Liverpool, though, have always disputed the apparent change in stance, and the club remains, as mandated by owners Fenway Sports Group, run under a strict policy of self-sustainability. The enormous expenditure in the transfer window was down, in part, to record levels of revenue, and the fact that the previous summer saw a profit turned with just Federico Chiesa signed at £10. That £450 figure, one which has been regularly mentioned in criticism of performances and results, also doesn't take into context what was quite the turnover in playing staff. That, Arne Slot admits, is something that quietly irks him when it comes to the discussion of his team's fortunes. "It's a model of sustainability," Slot said. "That's why everyone talks about £450, but that's why we had to recoup £300, so that's our model, and I am not frustrated about that. Maybe I am a little bit frustrated that too many people don't notice what our model is. They are talking about £450, but it's £300 recoup. I am totally not frustrated, as that's the model I stepped into, and I even embrace it. It's a good model to have for any club. I am frustrated that sometimes people don't notice it, but we were able to achieve a lot of good things, since this ownership is here, with this model of sustainability. That's the signings we have made. We have only made signings this season that are of that level. So yes, I think there is much more to come. That is where we are and what we are. Future signings will always be or should be of a sustainable level." While Slot may feel he is within his rights to push back on the net spend argument, the £300 figure is not quite what Liverpool were able to raise for their outgoings last year.